Ending OMG hour.
Welcome, everybody. It is the third week of the quarantine, and this is the working from home edition of the OMG Hour, episode number 363. And I am working from home. I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I am Mr. Second Place, Tico.
And I just realized my camera is totally off-center from what it usually is. But you know what? I don't mind that because it allows me to have the logo up there while we're talking.
Well, that's okay. Nobody really wants to fully be able to look at you dead in the center of the screen anyways.
Nobody wants to look at me anyway. They're only here for you, Tico.
I know. And I'm sort of working from home. I mean, nobody's paying me to do anything, but I'm here. I've been practicing working from home for like over a year now, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm adding it to my resume as, an expert at working from home.
You should totally.
Because at this point, everybody else is so unprepared for having to deal with this. I have been doing this for, a year and a bit now.
Actually, you used to work from home with your other job, so that's just,
that's true. I mean, I should, somebody should hire me because I am the expert
at working from home.
So
I have to say that last week I mentioned how it's so weird working from home, like on just a laptop screen. Yeah. So now, of course, in Ontario, we've got a whole bunch of inessential services, non-essentials, or basically told work from home, close your business, whatever.
That one hot dog stand, I think, and an ice cream parlor that were deemed non-essential. Everything else apparently is essential. We got that list. No, I want to interrupt your story.
I wrote to the guys who, one of the guys who lives across the street from me. I said, hey, Brian, when you come home today, grab my second monitor and my keyboard. And so he brought them in. I got my big screen monitor hooked up. So now I've got my dual screen. I've got my ergonomic keyboard. Now I literally feel like I'm at work because now it's so comfortable. It's so much easier to work with my work equipment here. So it's funny because now my desk at home has like 4 monitors all around it because I have 2 monitors here in front of me, 2 monitors right here beside me, 2 keyboards, 2 mouse. It's like I'm in NASA all of a sudden. I'm like a NASA worker.
By the end of this crisis, it's just going to be nothing but wall-to-wall monitors all around Sean.
That's it. Just give me everything. That's right. I'm sorry. Now, you wanted to interrupt me with a non-essential story, so go ahead.
Well, it wasn't so much a story as in like they made this announcement that they were closing all non-essential businesses and everybody needed to either work from home or, be laid off or whatever it ended up being. And the day that evening at like midnight or something like that, they released the list of essential businesses. And I believe that there were actually more stores open the following day because they're now considered essential.
The weird thing to me is some of the stuff I understand, of course. Other things I don't, like bicycle repair shops are considered essential. Why is the LCBO, and I'm being honest, why is the LCBO
I can actually
essential?
Answer that.
Okay.
So I can actually answer that.
For those of you who don't know, the LCBO is the liquor
control
store.
Board.
It's the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. That's our liquor store.
Right. So the reason for the LCBO and the cannabis dispensary places being number one,
beer store.
And the beer store. Cannabis dispensaries, there are a lot of people with cancer and stuff like that require some of these things for pain management. For the LCBO, there are unfortunately quite a few alcoholics in this country.
That's what I was speculating.
Yeah.
That it's because of alcoholism, but really?
Well, and the reason for that is if alcoholics can't get their fix, and again, it's a disappointing situation, but if they can't get their fix in a legal way of doing it, they're going to find some way to do it. They're either going to go into withdrawal illegally, or they're going to go into withdrawal. And the load on the hospitals right now for people having to go in to be treated for withdrawal symptoms and stuff like that just can't happen right now. So to alleviate this, I mean, we've all watched movies and stuff. We've seen alcoholics who've drank like tons of mouthwash or
nail polish remover,
rubbing alcohol or whatever in order to get that fix. And that's what the reason for that is, to keep those open in order to prevent additional strain on the healthcare system.
So the other things that, so basically, when we all looked at, and I think everyone in Ontario did this, when everyone looked at the list, we're like, basically, okay, so basically everything's open. But when I ponder on it a little, when I noodle on it, I like that new word. Somebody,
Yep.
I got that from the Ubisoft game show. Remember the show about the Ubisoft, well, it was produced by Ubisoft, Epic Quest, remember? And
Yes.
they kept talking about they're going to noodle on an idea. Like, I like that. I'm going to noodle on that for a minute. But once I started noodling on what's actually open, basically things like hair salons, nail salons, clothing stores, bookstores, movie, like these things,
Movie theaters.
movie theaters, those are the things that are closed. So basically the entire mall is closed. Nothing in the mall essentially should be open unless it's takeout food.
And that's open to the public. Businesses are allowed to remain open for curbside pickup. They are
Right.
allowed to remain open for online stores and stuff like that. For us, like board game stores, several
Closed.
have closed. They've closed their physical locations, but they are still shipping.
That's right.
401 Games, Board Game Bliss are still shipping stuff out.
I've actually had a few emails from, I think, a couple of them. I know one in particular was 10,000 Villages. They are closed, and
Yep.
they've also closed the warehouse where you can still order stuff, but they're not going to ship things out for a few weeks because the entire warehouse is also closed.
Okay, so yeah,
a lot
some
of
them
these
are
places, I know some places are open, but some places are closing the warehouse, but you can still submit orders for delivery later
open
whenever they
for
open it up
future
again.
product.
Yeah. So it is a crazy time. I mean, I don't even know what to think of this. And on that note, Tico and I were talking, and we feel like based on what's going on, we're going to take the show like sort of week to week to decide whether or not it's even worth having a show that week. Because at this point in the news cycle, not a whole lot's going on. There's not a lot even to talk about. And if we feel like there's not really much to talk about, we're just not going to have a show that week. We're just going to take it, week by week, see how things are. Maybe we'll jump on. We'll just chat for 30 minutes. I don't know. But I think at this point, until we know for sure what's going on, I think the show may either just take a bit of a hiatus or it'll take a different form week to week until things get back to normal. We'll see. We don't know yet. I'm just saying that. So be prepared. But on that note, let's jump into some gaming because I've actually gamed, Tico, every single day of the week since last Friday.
Well, what else are you going to do, Sean?
Well, it's been a bit of a gaming lull for me lately. But last Friday, of course, Animal Crossing came out. Right?
Yes, that game was obviously big in the news because that was one of the big releases that has come out, and that was one of the releases that EB Games stayed open for.
And of course, Doom Eternal as well.
Yes.
Right.
Was it worth staying open for them? Was that like, is this the game that they needed to stay open for?
Apparently it was. According to a news article, they actually saw a surge in income this month because of that.
So they needed that.
They were like 2% higher or something like that than March of last year, which is, considering all the shutdowns, that's pretty incredible.
Well, and they've just announced there are 300 of their stores that will be closing. An additional 300 stores will be closing permanently.
Was it like 318 stores or something they're going to close?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who knows if they're even going to reopen? That's speculation. But yeah, they're closing a whole bunch of more. They've still got like 5,400 stores nationwide. Yeah. So closing 300 stores, although, I mean, that's a lot of people out of work.
Yeah.
That's not a lot compared to how many stores they have.
That are presently planned on staying open.
That's basically, by the sounds of it, they're still going to have just over 5,000 stores nationwide.
Yeah.
So it's pretty significant.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with this. I think that I saw a very interesting quote from Mark Cuban, who you, of course, will know as the owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
Of course I would know that. Good friend of mine.
Yeah. You probably would know him better from his stint on Shark Tank. as well as
I don't.
I believe that he was one of the founders of Google, or
Well, I don't
one of those
watch.
things he sold. But he's a really rich guy. Anyways,
I know
he said
all the rich guys. Don't you know
yeah,
that?
he had a quote saying that companies' reactions and how they treat their staff during this pandemic will basically be how their brand is seen for the next generation.
So
Um,
GameStop, not so well.
like GameStop, that has obviously they've made some missteps and stuff like that. This is how people are. This is going to define their brand
Oh yeah.
moving forward. You have a lot of companies that are doing some great things for their employees who are stuck on the front lines, who are deemed essential. They are giving them bumps in pay and bonuses.
Yeah.
And you have other companies that are just not
You know,
doing right by their people at all.
it's pretty incredible that in all of this uncertainty for a lot of people, and I certainly feel for those, like, you're out of work and you are like on the verge of getting a job with
On
all
the
this.
cusp.
Yeah, and it's like I hate to see that happen. But my family, at least my wife and I and my eldest daughter, we've been extremely fortunate because I'm still working. I'm still getting paid full time.
Yep.
I can work from home. Dorothy and Ari are both getting a raise during this pandemic, and they're getting like, we're actually better off because of this.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me that that's has happened, and yet we are extremely fortunate in that we're better off because of it.
Plus,
I just hope the virus doesn't come to this house. That's all I
yeah,
can say.
yeah. I mean,
Because
there's
it's a scary thing. Because you don't know how your body is going to react to it. You could be fine, you may not. Like, you don't know.
no this. I mean, this initially, a lot of the press was saying, "Oh, it's a virus that affects the elderly and
It's
infirm."
not.
It's not. We're seeing now lots of younger people getting
Yeah,
infected and very sick
yeah.
and dying, and
Well, the
it is
bottom
a
line is that the disease itself, COVID-19, actually, for all intents and purposes, causes pneumonia.
yeah.
That's what it does. It causes pneumonia, and depending on the severity of that pneumonia, you can die from it. Because pneumonia, and this is all from a video I watched yesterday about how it all works. Pneumonia creates fluid
Fluid
in your
in your
lungs,
lungs.
and you can't breathe. You
Yeah,
essentially
you
start
drown.
drowning. Yeah,
Yeah.
and your body shuts down as the less and less you can breathe, and that's why the hospitals need all the respirators to help people breathe who are getting to the point where they can't, because they're gonna what they call tire out. They're afraid the patient is going to tire out, and that simply means because you're stressing your muscles trying to breathe,
Yep.
that you're
And
literally going to tire out your muscles and no longer be able to breathe.
you're basically exhausting to the point where your whole body shuts
Shuts
down,
down.
which
Yeah, and it's scary. I mean, yeah, I understand it's only like, what is it, 1 to 3% mortality rate right now, but that's
it's
significantly high.
that is significantly high. When you look at, right now, like I think the Spanish flu was the highest death toll, other than the plague.
Wasn't it
Uh,
400,000 or something?
the 50 to 100 million.
Oh, yeah, right. It was huge. Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
Spanish flu was a massive
Yeah.
thing, and that had a 1% mortality rate.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's how much, when you're talking worldwide, 2 to 3% of the world's population is pretty significant.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Um,
everywhere. It is everywhere. You know, there is no place on earth that doesn't have it yet, and that's pretty incredible. But this is not the COVID-19 podcast, and it never has
what?
been.
I think it has been, unfortunately, but yeah, we need to let's talk about
For the
Animal Crossing. I want you to tell me what you think about Animal Crossing.
I wish I had some. I should have captured footage. I didn't. Sorry, but I'm enjoying it. Area purchased. I mentioned it probably months ago. Area bought herself a Switch Lite
Yeah,
with the intent purpose of literally for Animal Crossing. That's why she bought it back at Christmas when she had the Christmas employee discount, which was like 25% off. She picked up a Switch Lite,
yeah,
and she's been playing Legend of Zelda since, but now she's got Animal Crossing, and the two of us are having fun visiting each other's islands. I'm actually really enjoying it. What I actually love about it this time is the crafting. Like if you want something, mostly you have to craft it. So you have to get the materials. You have to mine the rocks every day. You have to chop down the trees, or not chop them, but at least you can, if you hit them with an axe twice, you can get wood out of the tree. A third axe strike will cut the tree down, but you can also build just like a stone axe, which if you hit the trees with will never cut the tree down, but you'll get 3 pieces of wood from the tree every day, right?
Okay.
And there's, wood, hardwood, softwood. So depending on the material, you may need softwood. Then there's also weeds that grow. Normally when you pulled weeds, you just pulled them and they disappeared. Now the weed is an object that you can use to create medicine, for example, when you get bee stung. So if you combine the weeds with the beehive that falls out of the tree, you can then create medicine to treat yourself if you get stung by the bees. Right?
Okay.
So it's that sort of little bit of just adding so much more to the game. It is still Animal Crossing full on. They have not strayed away from what Animal Crossing is, but they've expanded it to be more. And they've given you more things to do. When a new character is going to move on to the island, they call Tom Nook ahead to buy the getaway package. And so he knows who's going to move in. You now get a building kit that you go and you say, okay, I'm going to place their house here. They don't choose, and they don't just randomly show up anymore. You actually have full control over where the houses go. So you can fully develop this island into your own planned community.
And you're keeping them all 6 feet apart, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. There is a border around each house that you have to maintain. You can't put them right up against each other. So when you lay down this construction kit, it gives you this outline of where it's going to go and shows you where on that plot will be the house. And so you can line it up. Like if you want all the houses beside each other on a street, because I know later on you're going to have the ability to create roads, right? So you can literally create streets and like a survey of houses. It's actually kind of cool that way.
So I personally, I've never played an Animal Crossing game.
I think I knew that, but I have played every Animal Crossing game since it came out on the GameCube originally, and then it went to the DS, and then it went to I think there's 2 of them on the DS, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't one of them come out with like 2 different versions or something like that, or was maybe Harvest Moon that did that? I don't know.
No, not Animal Crossing. So there was the original Animal Crossing, and then there was Animal Crossing New Leaf, which was on the 3DS was New Leaf.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think what the DS one was. And then there was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which came out for the mobile.
Okay.
And now there is Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is you're on a deserted island that you essentially are building up. City Life. That's right. City Life was the other one, which I think was either still the GameCube. Oh, or was it the Wii? I think it was the Wii. The Nintendo Wii had City Life.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think I remember that now.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that one.
I've had them all. I've played them all. My entire family, other than my wife, because she doesn't game, they've all played Animal Crossing. Like it's just one of those games that transcends generations, So I'm having a great time playing it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's Animal Crossing. If you've played it, you know what it is. It's basically a life simulator per se. It's a chore per simulator. You need to do this. Okay, I'm gonna go catch bugs. I'm gonna go fishing. I'm gonna go, collect the seashells. Oh, look, there's a message in a bottle. Containing a new do-it-yourself recipe. And, look, Gulliver has washed up on shore again. I better wake him up and see what he needs. So it's just sort of like little stories happen, and you get New
Okay.
characters come to the island. You can collect your fossils. You can donate them to the museum. Donate your fish and your the bugs that you catch. You can donate them to the museum. So it's a, sort of, you have this ongoing pursuit of getting all the dinosaur fossils, all of the
So
fish.
it's a gotta collect them
It's a
all
collect
sort of.
them all sort of thing because you want to have the museum full of
Yeah.
fish, dinosaurs, and bugs.
I've seen people talking about like a tarantula island or something like that.
Oh, well, tarantula. Okay, so on the island, every couple of days, I've noticed anyway, at night, a tarantula comes out. And if you don't catch it, it attacks you. It doesn't harm you, but it attacks you, and the screen goes dark, and you wake up at your house again. And then the
Okay.
tarantula is nowhere to be found. And I have been desperately trying. So every time I see the tarantula, what it does is if it gets too close to you, it rears up on its back legs like it's ready to attack. And if you don't walk away, like it watches you, and if you don't back away, you don't move, it runs towards you and
Ugh.
jumps.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that, and I will never play this game now.
I have been desperately trying to catch. I guarantee you can catch the tarantula. And that's, my heart was pounding the other day. Not even kidding you. There were 2 tarantulas on my island in the same night. And I
Oh.
tried to catch both of them unsuccessfully.
So I've seen people that have said like their entire like they've like lots of tarantulas seem to be on their islands is what I've been seeing people tweeting about.
Maybe
I don't
they've
know.
captured them. Maybe they've caught them. And once you've caught it, it's now in a display case.
No, they seem to think that like it's some sort of a I don't
Right?
know, like
Really?
a whole island of tarantulas or something like that.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'd have to see what you're referring to. But yes, there is a tarantula on the island every couple of days, usually at night. And I am desperately trying to catch one. And
Well,
I'm just glad it doesn't. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't harm you. It doesn't sting you. It puts you to your home wherever you are. It resets you to your home.
that can be a bit of a pain. Like you're trying to get something done, and all of a sudden it's like, nope, you
Sure.
go back to start.
Yeah, basically. I mean, the island's not that big, but anyway. But yeah, it's fast. Like, it's so fast that when I see it running and I go to swing the net to catch it, it's already attacking me. That's how fast it is.
Yeah, I don't like this, and I don't want this in my world. Um,
Oh man. Yeah. So there's definitely tarantulas there.
well, I finished Mad Max.
Oh, did you?
I did. There had been one part. I remember when I was playing initially, I got to this one part, and it was a part. It was one of these. It was a driving battle part, and
Okay.
I was having such a hard time with it, and I could not get it last time. And that's where I'd left it last time when I played. And I got to that point again, and I was having trouble with it again. I'm like, I'm going to be stuck in the same spot again. And I'm like, nope. And I powered through. It took me like 3 tries, but I got it on my 3rd try. And I got through that part, and then I basically finished off the game. So I've completed the full story of Mad Max.
How
It is.
close were you to the end after that?
Well, that was so there's 5 acts in the game, and that was the race or battle at the end of Act 3. So I had 2 more acts after that.
So you were halfway through the game when you
I was halfway through the
restarted.
game. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I couldn't remember any of the controls. I did try. I went back into my save. I'm like, I can't remember how any of this stuff plays.
Yeah.
So I'm like, forget it. I got time. I'm gonna restart.
Why?
So that's
Why do
that's
you,
when I
you-
restarted.
Why do you have so much time? Are you not doing anything? Or are you what's
Yeah,
going on?
no, I'm not. I'm doing nothing, Sean. Nothing at all. Well, Shannon's well enough now with her wrist surgery that she can take care of herself again. So I'm literally
Excellent.
doing nothing.
Well,
No, I'm doing some work. I picked up some extra work helping out my father's business. Unfortunately, my father's business is travel related.
oh, so it's doing
Great
really
time
well. It's doing so well
get-
right now.
Great time to get into travel. So it is interesting because it forces a pivot in mindset and stuff like how to do that. So it is actually interesting of how we're going to tackle dealing with travel and stuff like that. Obviously, there is no travel right now.
Right.
But how we're going to tackle dealing with helping out our clients still and stuff like that. So it's
Virtual
been an interesting.
travel. You guys need to get into the virtual travel business now.
Yes. Just we start selling trips where instead of going on the trip,
You
I'll
watch
call
it.
you up. No, I'm just going to call you up and I'm going to tell you about trips.
Oh, good.
You know, it's like just close your eyes. You can hear the ocean, and do that. Travel
And oh no,
stories.
there's a tarantula! Run!
No, I'm not. Listen, I will not be incorporating tarantulas into any of my stories. But I did watch a ton of TV and movies and stuff like that. I have binged a bunch of stuff.
Well, let's
How about
talk
you?
about stuff about like that in a little bit. But let's
Oh,
this week there was actually a Nintendo Direct, a new Nintendo Direct,
oh,
and I didn't even know it happened until after I all of a sudden started seeing news about a Nintendo Direct, and I'm like, wait, what?
they did it. Yeah,
I didn't even get a press release that there was one coming. I don't know if it was just like an impromptu thing or not, but a whole ton of game announcements came out for the Switch. But there is a big theme here that I want you to think about. So first of all, which some pretty awesome announcements.
yeah.
Both BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite are coming to the Switch in May. And Borderlands Collection is coming. Borderlands 2, and the Borderlands the pre-sequel are coming to the Switch. The XCOM 2 collection is coming to the Switch. All of this stuff is coming in May. Right? That's huge. Those are big games all of a sudden coming
Yeah.
to the Switch. In July, we're going to get Catherine Full Body. And then in the months following that are already scheduled, again in March, we're getting Saints Row 4 Reelected. April, Trials of Mana. In the spring, we're going to get Elder Scroll Blades, which is awesome because I've played Blades on my phone.
On mobile, yeah.
I would love to play it with an actual controller. I think it
Controller,
would play
yeah.
so much better. Minecraft Dungeons is coming in the spring. Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus in May. Mr. Driller DrillLand on June 25th. The Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel 3. Vigor is coming in the fall. Burnout Remastered is coming. Burnout Paradise Remastered. King's
Yeah.
Bounty 2 and the DJ rhythm game Fuser are all coming. That's a lot of stuff they covered in that game direct, that Nintendo Direct. But the biggest thing for me about that entire list, Tico, was why does it feel suddenly that the Switch is an also ran system?
These are all
Like, these are all games that are available somewhere else already.
some of them a long time ago.
Yes. And if why does it feel like Nintendo is like, hey, let's just remake a bunch of games and put them on the Switch? Where are all the games that are like exclusive or made just for the Switch?
Yeah, like where is your, Zelda 2, a new Smash Brothers content? Where's all the stuff that people
Well, that's Nintendo. Nintendo is constantly coming out. Well, not constantly. A few times a year, Nintendo will have a big title for the Switch, right? So we've got Animal Crossing, we've got the Smash Brothers, we have the Mario games. But when it comes to third parties, nobody's making original games for the Switch.
No, nobody's making original games for the Switch. They're making their games on on Xbox and PlayStation, and then they're waiting 5-6 months and then porting it over to the Switch.
Or more, or years.
Yep.
Right? They're going to the back catalog of all these games and porting them to the Switch.
I mean, at this time, it makes sense for them to take old content that they have, work on the port rather than bringing brand new content and to sell their back catalog stuff again, to get people excited about it. Because when people see these things, they also start to think, well, I've got that. I can get that on the Xbox for like the BioShock collection has been on sale for like under $20.
Yes,
the Borderlands collection.
Chico, here's the thing. With game streaming,
yeah,
especially Xbox game streaming, if you own BioShock Collection, if you own the XCOM 2 Collection, if you own the Borderlands Collection, you can already play that on a mobile device with game streaming.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely, right? You can. And that's what people are going to do. The Switch needs some exclusive content to make it stay relevant when Microsoft and, obviously the Stadia is huge for... Oh, wait.
What? I'm sorry, the what now?
But like these, you have these streaming companies that are using this, and they're making these games available in a mobile format on your phone with a controller.
Yeah.
That that controller that you're comfortable and familiar with to play these games already. Nintendo, needs to do something like these games. It's great that they're getting these games, but they need to go to third party companies and say, we need something exclusive. We need you to make us the next big thing on the Switch for the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would love to see Ubisoft take one of their IPs, say Assassin's Creed, because
Yeah.
I love Assassin's Creed. But I would love to see an Assassin's Creed developed exclusively for the Switch.
Yeah.
Just give me I don't care if it's a side story from Origins or from Odyssey, or I don't care if you take an already existing assassin and just give me an exclusive story
Stuff that
on
we
the
saw.
Switch.
What was the one that was made for the PlayStation Portable?
Oh, that was
Liberation? Was it Liberation?
Liberation. Thank you. That was Liberation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that's what Sony did. Sony paid Ubisoft. They said, we want an Assassin's Creed game for
Yeah.
this console. I mean, it's eventually now been ported out for Xbox and PlayStation and Switch.
Yes.
I think even at this point, it's been ported out at this point. But that was made for that.
It was
exclusively
made for the
for
Vita.
that.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to do for Nintendo. They need to say, listen, grab the Rogue universe of Assassin's Creed Rogue, make us a game, use the engine, we don't care. Make us a game with original story content that's going to be exclusive on the Switch for however much time, and then do whatever you want with it later. But they need to pay for that exclusivity, and they need to get something that's just coming out on the Switch. It's made for the Switch.
And
not ported
maybe
over.
they don't need to. Like, financially, I don't think Nintendo needs to, because the Switch is doing so well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not hurting in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why
I
we
think
don't
that is
see
why
this,
when
right?
we see the exclusives right now for the other consoles, and those exclusives come from studios that are owned by those companies,
Right.
or paid exclusive content. Sony does this.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily mean exclusive. What I mean even is when a game comes out on like you can have big games come out on the consoles at the same time on both, right? Or all of them, including Stadia, or PC, Stadia, Xbox, PS4. They all come out at the same time. But why not also have a Switch version for these games if you're just going to port it anyway? But I don't expect I don't expect Doom Eternal, to come out on the Switch day and date with a console. But I would love to see games come out that are designed for the Switch. That's all I'm saying. And maybe it's just not worth it. I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it for Ubisoft to create just a Switch game. Like, I don't know how well was it Mario versus Mario and Rabbids?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how well that game did. That was a Ubisoft exclusive.
Yeah,
right?
I think it did well initially, but I've seen it on like extreme sale, like $5.
Well, yeah, but and going along the same route, Starlink came out on all the consoles and the Switch at the same time, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, but I'd love to see that sort of thing happen. When you have a game that can be put on the Switch at the same time as the console, I think we need more of that, so it doesn't feel like the Switch isn't also ran.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not getting, a remastered game from
Right.
5-10 years ago.
Exactly. That and I don't think we have enough of that. I don't think we have enough first run game. That's the better word, I think. The first run games on the Switch, right?
Yeah, we want these games on there when they're still relevant. And we have seen some of those. The Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which was an exclusive an exclusive to that. But very few and far between do we see that. Yeah, do we see that commitment from from a developer or publisher to get out on the Switch.
Yeah. Switch is a great system. I mean, I have as much as I don't use it as much as I would the consoles, I don't regret the fact that I have a Switch. I think it's great. You know, it's got its games. There's a reason to have it. When I travel, I take it with me. You know, so it's not something I'm like, oh man, why did I buy a Switch? Well, I'm quite happy I bought a Switch, especially now that Animal Crossing is out, right?
Yeah, and you're stuck in your house.
Which is one of my favorite series for Nintendo. Like, I don't have a lot of favorite Nintendo series. Series. But Animal Crossing is one of those series from Nintendo that I love. Like, I've never been a huge Zelda fan. I've never been a massive Mario fan. I think, look, listen, I play Mario games. Sure, I've got all the Mario games when they come out. I do enjoy them, but I don't play them and finish them all the time. I enjoy them for its time, but it's not like I'm not a Mario fan per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I've had Switch on the mind, so I wanted to talk about it because obviously I've been playing it all week, like every day. You know? And because of that, I haven't watched a whole lot of television. I don't think there's been a whole lot of. I feel like when it comes to TV, we're gonna have a huge dry spell in like a month or two.
So that's what I was thinking. This is like the content we have now. Everybody's like, getting super excited about Netflix and Disney Plus and their homes, so they're watching a ton of this new content. I've seen like this Tiger King documentary people are going crazy about. Shannon and I watched 100 Humans on Netflix and binged all 8 episodes of that.
What is that?
It's an exclusive show on Netflix. It is they do like it's basically they have 100 human beings and they do science. It feels a lot like Mythbusters, where they take a premise on each individual show and they talk to people and they sort of test theories with these 100 humans that they have at their disposal. It is very Mythbustery type.
Now, are they 6 feet apart?
They are not, but it was pre-filmed, so it's okay.
I gotta tell you, this whole virus thing has like made me look at television.
Everything, like I'm watching some stuff, and like I'm watching stuff like just like an old show, and like 2 people do something, and then you see them do a high five. I'm like, don't touch each other.
Don't touch your face.
Like all of this stuff where you see things happening on TV now, like. I mean, there's a show that's on the trending thing called Restaurants on the Edge on Netflix right now,
I saw that.
Which is all these small restaurants in these small communities and stuff like that, where they're on the verge of going out of business, and they have people come in. And I'm like, man, and I haven't watched the show, but I like saw the preview. I'm like, man, all these restaurants got to be closed by now.
Oh, yeah,
there's no tourists anymore. Like,
right? Yeah, that looked to me like a was it Hell on Wheels? No, not Hell on Wheels. That's a TV show. 24 Hours to Hell and Back with Gordon Ramsay. It's basically 24 Hours to Hell and Back, but around the world. Around the world
and less swearing. It's,
more... They bleep it out.
Yeah, but like, I mean, less anger for the sake of Gordon Ramsay anger,
Sure.
But there's a number of shows like I'm watching through this. But here's what's going to happen: we have all this content, and everybody's going to get so excited and they're watching everything. It's like you've consumed all your content now. We're at a stop point. Nothing's getting made anymore.
Yeah.
So unless it's already made, you're going to get to the point. It's like, man, I've watched all of Netflix.
Well, even the shows we're watching right now.
Yeah.
Batwoman, Supergirl.
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow. No, I think Legends of Tomorrow is done filming. Flash. They've all gone home. They haven't finished the season yet, but they've closed down production, which means we're not even going to get the end of the season yet. Right?
Yeah,
the season's just going to stop.
Walking Dead, which you and I are big fans of, was supposed to be a 16-episode season. It is now going to end after 15 episodes. Episode
really?
16 will be, because they didn't finish it. Episode 15 will air this week. Episode 16 will end the season. Episode 16 will be released as a standalone episode, not part of this season or next season. It'll be a standalone episode.
Seems weird.
I think they're going to add some content to it and release that separately, because otherwise you give us
sort of a in between season movie.
Yeah, in between season movie. We know that they were working on, and they introduced in the last episode of Walking Dead sort of the lead in to the Rick Grimes series of Walking Dead movies.
Yes, the last episode. So the last two episodes were fantastic. I don't want to spoil anything because it's current
Yeah,
season, but I just have to say I was right about a certain character, and I'm very happy with how that ended up.
yeah,
And I think we were. I was reading something about how they were going to write out
Michonne.
Michonne, right?
Yeah,
Because we knew she was leaving the show, and the speculation was actually correct with how they wrote her out, like exactly.
yeah,
And also the rumor was she was gonna be on the Rick Grimes
Rick.
movies, and that's exactly where they led her. Like it was actually great. Some of it I thought was a little not real. I don't know if I want to say realistic because it's Walking Dead, but
Yeah.
I just don't feel like she would just up and leave that quickly. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like an odd scenario for her to, like, I know that they tried to play it off. And again, we tried not to do spoil. All right, spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. It seems odd that, like, she just like, oh well, we need to find some way to justify her leaving basically what is her family in
Yeah.
Judith and I don't know what the you know
RJ.
RJ
Rick Jr.
Rick Judith, yeah, leaving them to go and do this. And so it was
It was a
a
phone.
rate
It was a radio call, and that's
for,
it.
like, where she said, "Yep, go and do it." And okay, I get it. Like, you needed to justify her leaving, but it just felt like I know, as a parent myself,
There's no way you would just up
there's
and
no
leave
way
like
I'd be
that.
like, well, you
Okay.
know, like, I'm not going to leave Leah in some random place while I go off looking for Shannon in some other random place.
You would
It's
take her
just,
with you.
I would take her with me, or I would be like, okay, this sucks, but you know,
Yep.
enjoy whatever is going on in whatever random place you might possibly be.
So I'm actually really really happy with this season of The Walking Dead. I just I I really want. Well, they've been setting up the story of I believe it's called the Commonwealth, and I'm not a reader of the books, but from what I've been reading, they're setting up the Commonwealth, and I don't know what that is and I don't really want it spoiled for me because I'd like to watch it through. But the radio call that Eugene's been having with this mystery
Yep.
woman, apparently that's the beginning of them meeting the Commonwealth.
Okay. It seems like another larger
Another
community.
large community. And I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if it's just sort of another Alexandria where they join a new thing and there's just more drama because of that. It's not they're neither good nor bad. It's just sort of the drama comes from the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that Commonwealth introduction will be the jumping off point for the next Walking Dead, which is with I think the kids who have always grown up inside and have never known what's outside, and then they end up getting out. Do you remember the trailers for that?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
remember
And I
what it's
know.
called, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering if the Commonwealth is the jumping off point for that show.
And that absolutely could be. That could be. We'll see. I know that show is obviously shut down production as well.
Yes, there is.
So
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is there was a couple of new shows being looked at for the Walking Dead series.
yeah, I think there was 2 or 3 spin-offs of some form.
Yeah.
So we'll see where those all go. Um, since we're talking about Walking Dead, what are some that's obviously ending this week. What are some alternatives to Walking Dead that you know of that that might have a similar type of feel or universe that have been out that people can binge?
Similar to The Walking Dead?
Well, like similar, like so for me, I don't know if you remember the show from a few years back, number of years back, called Jericho,
I love Jericho.
which that's sort
That's
of
end of the world stuff.
that's end of the world stuff. Great show. Also had Morgan in it.
Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it
You know,
did.
he was in that show as well. I really enjoyed that show, and it was sort of like a fun take on, obviously no zombies, but an end of the world situation.
Yeah.
Those sort of fun ones.
Well,
Another fun one.
that was basically some kind of a nuclear attack
Yeah,
cut out all power across the country, and there was zero communication, and it was no power, and they just had to kind of figure out what was going on, and they had no way of knowing. And it was a really Jericho is the name of the town where they're all from, and
Yep.
it was a great show. It only lasted 2 seasons, and then the third season was a comic book to finish the story, and it was really well done.
Yeah. So that's a fun one that you can sort of binge through. One that I actually really enjoyed was a British series. So you've got, I think, a total of like 7 episodes across 9 seasons. Okay, I think maybe two seasons. It was a show called.
Second to realize what you had said.
I think it's like 4. I think it's a total of 6 episodes over 2 seasons. Now they're longer episodes, but it was a series called Survivors.
I think I remember seeing that, and not really knowing what it was.
Well, so here's an interesting. It is basically a virus pandemic takes over the world.
That sounds very implausible.
Yeah.
That's the word.
And it has a mortality rate of like 98%.
Oh my gosh.
So like this is what we're left with, the survivors. And how people the survivors the people who are immune to this disease. Okay. Work at coming back from this, and it's it's a very, very interesting show. It actually also, oddly enough, has Morgan in it.
So this is the shows you should watch with what's his name, Robert something or other.
Yeah.
Well, how about the 100?
The 100, another great one.
That takes place. It takes place about 100 years after a big nuclear war on Earth, and the remaining humans are living in a space station, and they send down 100 teenagers to the ground to basically as a scouting party to see if it's livable again.
It's not a scouting party. It's to
I know they're the troublemakers.
They're the troublemakers, so they're basically being
sacrificed,
airlocked out to get rid. Like, you guys are jerks. We're just sending you down to the planet.
I actually really enjoy the 100. The 100 is great. They're finishing. They're supposed to finish their season. I think they may still. It's supposed to start soon. Season 7 is going to be the what?
9.
No.
I'm pretty sure it's season 9.
Season 7.
No.
Or it could be even season 6 of the 100 is going to be their last one, and it's coming soon.
Are you looking it up too, or which one of us is going to look up how many seasons we have? I'm looking up because
You're absolutely wrong. By the way,
I probably absolutely am. So I'm going to look it up.
It's 7 seasons. The 7th season is their last. And what's interesting about the 100 is once the 7 seasons are done, there will be exactly 100 episodes.
Well, that's a good planning.
That's there's how you plan a show.
That's some good planning. That's another, great disaster, type thing.
Season 3 or 4, I think, was like, just get it over with already. So they've had their down seasons, but overall, the show's really great.
Yeah. There's a documentary series on Netflix that just came out at the end of January called Pandemic, How to Prevent the Next Outbreak.
Come on. They failed.
Yeah. This is the thing.
What is this? You said this was a reality show?
It's a documentary series.
Oh,
where they cover, and if you watch just the preview for it, says, we are going to be, we don't know when, but we're going to have a pandemic soon.
And this came out in January.
End of January, this thing launched on Netflix.
And they already knew that COVID was a thing in January.
When they filmed this,
that's true. They didn't know when they filmed it, but
yeah.
Wow.
So there's some stuff to binge. There's some stuff to watch. Movies. We just watched the pandemic movie from 2011. I believe it was.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. Didn't you watch Outbreak as well? You mentioned
that
last
Outbreak
week.
as well. And it's
you're repeating content, Tico.
Listen, nobody listened anyway, so what difference does it make?
You're probably right.
But you've got some great movies and TV to watch. We're just trying to keep busy during this time and stay sane for.
How about virus? What are some of the virus related games you could play? And right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, of course, Resident Evil. You could go back and
Yes.
play those. Resident Evil 3 is coming soon. That's a complete remake, which I was surprised to see how huge a remake that is. Like major CGI cutscenes from these characters. Like, what? This is RE3? Of course, The Last of Us. How perfect is The Last of Us for this time?
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
literally about a virus that has growths coming out of the people. It turns them into these like weird plant creatures. You know, that's all a virus.
Uh,
What
uh,
else is virus
uh,
related gaming?
well, I mean, Mad Max is, a post-apocalyptic wasteland of a
Right, but
world.
that's not necessarily virus related. I
No,
think that
no.
was like Mad Max was actually like nuclear winter.
Yeah. Well, you have Plague Inc. on the phone.
True.
Your mobile game Plague Inc. You can play, which is
You know,
basically.
yeah, that's basically you can mimic what's going on now.
Well, and here's an interesting thing. They're actually releasing a free update. For one thing, they've donated a ton of money to COVID research right now. But they're actually releasing a free update that allows you to play the other side
Yeah,
of the virus.
yeah, you're repeating content again, Tico.
Did I talk about this?
You did.
When did I talk about this? I
Last
learned this
week.
yesterday.
You talked about it last week.
Did I forget stuff that I talked about?
Yeah, you sure you don't have the forget virus?
There's a chance. I don't know. I don't. You talk about something then. I can't remember what I've talked about again.
Apparently, this week has been so bad.
We're talking in circles now. That's how bored we have gotten. Is like,
let's just repeat That's what we're going to do every week. We're going to get on, do a new show, and it's just going to be repeated. It's going to be a rerun.
It's going to be a Groundhog Day.
It's going to be a remake. We're going to do we're going to start at the beginning with episode 1. We're going to remake episode 1 next week. How about that?
But every week we're going to look worse, so it's going to be like a demaster.
Demaster. Perfect. I don't know if you could get worse than the very first episode of the OMG Hour. That is almost painful to listen to. I've gone back to listen to it.
Oh.
It's like, whoa. It's just so I don't know, man. Anyway, I was gonna. BioShock is kind of like a virus. Everybody gone crazy because of the stuff they were injecting.
Yes, the plasmids.
Right?
Plasmids would be fun to have right about now.
Sort of a virusy type outbreak in there. I don't remember what BioShock Infinite. I don't remember what the problem was with Infinite.
Well, it's the same thing. That's the one that deals with you're in the sky.
Well, I know it was in the sky. I just don't remember the problem.
There's the girl who goes missing, and you have to find her.
Elizabeth. Yeah, but why is everything attacking you?
I think it's the same thing. I think it was
just a war up there, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a faction war?
It was a faction war between the elite and the working class.
Right. So that wasn't a virus of any kind.
No.
I'm trying to think what other games sort of deal with viruses. No, nothing's really popping to mind.
Yeah, so you've gone through Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, The Last of Us, and Plague Inc. is really the ones that come to mind.
I'm sure there's some other stuff out there. I mean, we have Pandemic. We have there's versions of that. Trying to think of other stuff. Sean, come on.
Board game wise, Pandemic and board game. You've got Dead of Winter is
Dead of Winter
related.
is a great one. You've got. I want to look behind me now to see what I've got because you've mentioned that.
I'll look behind you for you.
Oh, good. Yeah, just read off some of my stuff.
Actually, I can't really see it now.
I've got Wasteland Express.
Yeah, but that's Wasteland. That's not virus related.
If people get sick, it could be.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, that's good. That's good. I think that's it. One quick thing I want to talk about before we end the show this week.
All right.
This was something we forgot to touch on last week, and I thought it was really fantastic news. Was apparently the Mandalorian season 2 has cast Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano.
Yes.
Ahsoka Tano, of course, is Anakin's Padawan from the Clone Wars, and to see Ahsoka done in live action is literally like a dream come true. This is a character I really hoped to see in in a live action, I was really, really hoping somehow that she was in the Rise of Skywalker because she'd still be alive,
Yeah.
you know, which I thought would have been a fantastic, even if it was a cameo or something. I mean, her voice was in it, but not her character. And now that, if she's going to be on the Mandalorian live action TV show, that is unbelievable. And I think Rosario Dawson is like a really perfect casting
Yeah.
for
And
her.
there's talk that this is being used as a backdoor pilot for potentially
Live action
another live action Disney Plus series as well.
with centering around Ahsoka.
Yes.
See, I would love to see a live action or even just a movie, but I would love to see a live action story of where and what Ahsoka and Ezra Bridger did after the events of Rebels. Because at the very end of Rebels, the last episode, Ahsoka and Ezra Bridger took off into the unknown. To do what? I don't know.
Well, that's the perfect premise.
And
for...
I would love to see, again, another cartoon character, Ezra Bridger. I would love to see someone cast as him and have those two. And I'd love to either see a show or a movie about where they went and what they did. That would be fantastic.
Let me see what I can do, Sean. I'll make some calls.
Would you take care of that?
Yeah, why not?
It's not like you have anything else to do, Tico.
No, I don't. So, if it happens, it's because I took care of it.
That's great.
Let's just say that. If it happens, I was on it, I took care of it.
Oh yeah, if it happens, it's all because of this show right here, right now.
Most things are. I mean, we have affected pop culture and whatnot many times over where we say something and then, shortly after, like somebody does something
Absolutely.
with it. We have yet to see any residuals from this. We're still waiting from our checks from many of the studios and
still waiting for that. Yeah, we're still waiting for those royalty checks to come in.
But it'll happen. I imagine it's just because, they're just a little behind. We'll get those checks eventually, right?
Eventually,
Sean?
sure.
Right?
Yes.
They probably shipped them with my knives.
I was just going to say they're with your steak knives, Tico.
So, yeah. We got that to look forward to.
Well, you can also look forward to us coming back again sometime, maybe next week.
Yes.
We don't know. We'll play it by ear for now until things get back to normal. But for now, you can follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour, and you can follow me everywhere as Ziantane, and that is XIANTAYNE.
And you can follow me at Mr. Second Place.
Thanks everybody for joining us for episode number 363. We will talk to you again later.
Bye, guys.
If you liked that, did you like
what
that,
we just
Tico?
did?
Did you like it?
I show up every week, so clearly I either have something wrong with me or I enjoyed it.
Well, then you should subscribe. Just click that button right there and subscribe.
Yeah,
and you should click on some of those videos over there and watch them too.
I do. I do that all the time.
Great. I appreciate that, Tico. But everyone else should do it too because that would be fun.
That would be.
I have to lean over.